Hi you guys, it's Elle. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking all about brows. I'm going to be sharing with you my new brow routine, some old kind of trusty, true tips on how to groom your brows, so how to pluck them, cut them, shape them yourself at home, as well as fill them in kind of my updated brow routine, because I've been doing some things different. So if you want to know more about that, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Please join our beautiful community of the Elle Squad, and let's do it. All right, so the first step is to map out where your brows should be. Now, in theory, this should be kind of even and relatively easy, but for people like me, I have uneven brows, most people I would say, and brows that don't grow in all the way, it can be a little bit hard. So when you are doing this at home, I do not recommend you completely changing your shape. Like, you need to go to a professional. I've talked about this many times. Find one that's really good in your area, that comes highly recommended. Have them shape your brows and then just keep up with it. But if you are going to do it on your own, this is how you do it. Take a pencil, and what we'll do is, you know what? We'll take an eyebrow pencil. Okay? And what you want to do is you want to lay it on the side of your nose, not down here, but on the side of your nose right here. And you want to make a little notch so you guys can see it. Let's see it. Okay. That's that one. Okay? Now, to find out where your arch should be, you do lay it on the side of your nose, line it up with the black part of your eye, and make a notch. Okay? And then to find out where your brow should end, line it up with the outside of your nose, the corner of your eye, and make a notch. Okay? So we all can see that for the most part, my brow starts where it's supposed to, the arch is where it is, but it does not end where it is supposed to. That I can't really do anything about except for fill it in. But now we have it kind of mapped out. So what I do next is I take my little spoolie and I brush it up. Forgive me, I have like a little imperfection in my brow. That's what you see, but that's okay, no big deal. So when you brush your brows up, if you have crazy stray hair up here, that is what you're going to cut. But you do not want to cut this so close to your natural brow that it takes out all the definition of your brow hairs. So I'm just going to put my little mirror down here. And if I'm going to recommend anything, I would get a mirror that has a magnification to it. All right, and then I'm just going to take my little brow scissors, my little spoolie, and since my brows aren't too long, I'm not really going to cut very much, but I want to show you how to do it. So I'm going to take my little scissors, my little spoolie, hold my brows up, and gently just take off a little bit from the top. So do you see how I still left them long, but they're more manicured? And then I'm going to do that one more time at the top of the arch. And this is really just to make sure that when you do brush your brows up with brow gel, they don't go all crazy and there's not like long ones and things of that nature. I don't necessarily do it over here because I just don't have that much hair, but if you do, you're just going to take the very tips off, almost like you're getting a trim from your hairstylist, okay? So from this side again, see, this one is a little crazy. You see that long one? I'm going to hold this up. All right, so just like that, and they actually will look more angular at this point as well, which is what we want. And then you want to brush them down. This I rarely have to do because that's just how my brows grow. They don't grow super long. But if you brush this down and you have longer brow hairs, let me see if I can show you with this one right here. I'm going to cut that guy. You don't want any hair that is kind of falling down onto your lid. All right. So then that's where you have it. Now, when you are, I have my little tweezers, and actually I recommend Tweezerman tweezers. They're awesome. I have the same pair for many, many years. Now, when you are trying to clean up underneath here, it's really your personal preference. I like to make sure that I have the fullest brows possible. So what I will do is I will just take a random pencil, and I will do this kind of messy because I will take this off, but I'm gonna just kind of draw a line up. And I'll say, yep, that's where I want to eventually fill them in. So I don't want to take anything inside here off. And then what you're gonna do is you're going to clean up what is below that line. And take your time with this part because this part can get a little tweezer happy, and that's why I like to draw this line so I know do not touch anything in there. In the center here, you want to just clean up all of this. So for above, I do get my brows shaped, and she does take a little bit off the top. This is going to, again, be a personal preference for you, but I guarantee you, once you start cleaning up this top part, it's going to look really spectacular. Just make sure you don't take off too much. All right, so there we have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of take this all off and brush through. I am in the process of using Grand Lash right now to see if I can grow my brows and my lashes back. So we'll see if that works out. But I always recommend using a lash growth serum on your brows if you want them to be fuller. So now what I do before I start any foundation, I take a very stronghold eyebrow gel. I love the one from Anastasia. I also love the one from It Cosmetics, the brow pomade. It's called Brow Power Pomade. This is just her brow gel from Anastasia. Benefit makes one. You can use clear brow, mascara, clear mascara, sorry, from the drugstore, or you can actually use hairspray on a spoolie and comb it through. But honestly, this is like the best way of doing it to get that most natural hair-like effect, is to put brow gel on first. This is actually a tip I learned so long ago when I first started to be a makeup artist. If you don't know who Sam Fine is, he's an amazing, amazing makeup artist in the industry out of New York, and this is one of his tips. And it's something that I started using early in my career, and I've absolutely loved doing this because it makes the brows look so natural. Another important tip is to make sure you do get the most strongest brow gel you can find. I've actually tried to use brow or mascara primer, like a brown one from Benefit, and it just doesn't look great. But I am going to use this, and I'm going to push this up. All the brows go up. Now you see why it's important that we cut the top off. I'm just going to push these all the way up, and this is why I do it before anything else, is because I want it to have time to set and to dry, but I also don't want it to mess up any eyeshadow or any foundation. And I brush them the opposite way. You want to look a little bit crazy. You want these to be very full. And I actually haven't been doing this technique for a while on myself, and I started doing it again, and you guys have started commenting on like, oh, I love your soft feathery brows, and this is what I have been doing. And I kind of coat these because sometimes we have brows that can be a little bit hard to stand up or to separate, so I really give this a nice coating. And at this point, if you see any long brow hairs that you probably should have cut, you can cut them now. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'll be right back to show you how I fill them in. All right, so now that the rest of my makeup is on, let's get to these brows. So I like to go in, I'm a little excessive, but I like to go in with 2 brow products and 2 different colors. So I'm gonna start with Benefit's, what is this called? Ka-Brow in number 2, which is a little bit lighter for me. And I will start on the top or I'll start on the bottom, but usually when I have brow gel on, I start on the bottom because they're already brushed up. So I like to start right here, and you just want to start filling in where you don't have any hair first. And that's why I take a product like this that is more, how should I say, it has a lot more, definitely is more opaque. Because where I don't have hair, I need it to be a little bit darker. And then I just, instead of going down to meet that mark that was already there, I kind of go straight. And this elongates the eye. And then for the top, I have to be careful because I don't want to move any of these hairs that are up so beautifully. And so I'm just going into in between my brows on top ever so slightly, rounding out this top because it's just how I like my brows. I like this to be a little bit more rounded, and I meet them up just like this, okay? So now if you have any holes, don't worry. We're going to fill that in a second. Now I'm going to take a deeper eyebrow pencil, and I'm just going to take one from Merle Norman. They're really beautiful eye pencils. But the ones from L'Oreal are just as good. Obviously, you pick your favorite. This is in ash brown. And I'm going to go in vertical hair-like strokes up at the front, mimicking the hair that we already have pushed up. And this is going to feel weird because the hair is already kind of pushed up with the first brow pomade that we used. And again, I'm just going in feathery hair-like strokes. And then if you really want to finish off this brow and make it look really perfected, I suggest using, where is my concealer? I suggest using a very dry concealer, something like the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind or the new All-Nighter concealers from Urban Decay. And I use them on a flat pencil brush, I call it, or just a flat-headed brush. I take it straight from the tube, just a little bit. And what I will do, I mean, just the faintest amount. And what I will do is I will just run this underneath my brow. Very little. And then you can take a Q-tip or something of that nature and blend it out. I'm just going to take a brush. And then I do the same thing on top. Now, what I like to do is I like to go over my top portion that I have done this on with my Beauty Blender that has my concealer and foundation on it, because I like to make sure that that is really blended out and doesn't look too overly done. All right, you guys, so here is the final look. I just finished the other eyebrow. You know what also I absolutely love is Highbrow from Benefit. It's beautiful product. Anastasia also has an eyebrow highlighting pencil. They're all matte, which I love. Those are some products, if you don't want to use a concealer, that would be great for this kind of last tip that we were talking about. All right, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and give me some other quick tips that you guys want me to do for you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Mwah. Bye, you guys.